on a gloriously sunny day here, but beneath the 36 white petals which combine to form this sunflower-shaped roof at this magnificent bowl of a stadium, there are a lot of empty seats here to watch what many consider to be two outsiders, not only in this tournament but also in Group B. South Korea might have lit up the 2002 World Cup on the way to the semi-finals, but they've not made it out of the group stages in their 6 other final appearances, whereas Greece, you might be surprised to hear, are only making their 2nd appearance at the World Cup finals. Their first was rather forgettable after losing all 3 group matches without scoring, and 2 of the teams that beat them then they'll be facing again in the group stages after this match today. Well, Greece are in a change strip of all blue. South Korea in their red shirts, white shorts and red socks are in a huddle in the half away to our right, and surprisingly Lee Won-jae, their most experienced player with 130 caps, is not in goal for them today. Jung Sung-ryong takes his place. They're playing a 4-4-2 formation across the back from right to left. Cha Do-ri, who played in 2002 en route to the semis but missed the 2006 World Cup. Cho Yong-hyung, who plays in Korea. Lee Jung-so and Lee Jung-pyo, familiar to Tottenham Hotspur fans, make up the rest of that defence. Lee Chung-yong of Bolton Wanderers, Ki Sung-yong of Celtic, Kim Jung-woo, who plays in South Korea, and Park Ji-sung, the captain of Manchester United, make up the midfield. Park Chu-yong and Yum Ki-hun are the 2 strikers for South Korea. And before I go through the Greek team, led by the oldest man in the managerial seat at this World Cup, as David Pleat mentioned before kick-off, Otto Rehagel, we have referee Michael Hester of New Zealand, who officiates domestically in Australia's A-League. He's just waiting for signals from the television host broadcaster here. But it's going to be South Korea who will attack the goal away to our left in this first half, the shaded part of the pitch. The sun is occupying about half of the pitch in front of us, which looks immaculate for a stadium which is only a year old. The British Lions appeared in the first competitive match of any sport here at this stadium, but today it's all about the World Cup. And David Pleat, lots of empty seats here.
Yeah, there are quite a few empty seats, although there's a good contingent of Koreans on the far side making a noise with their, and they call them their clappers, things that they bang together, but it's a change from the vuvuzelas, although you can hear them in the background humming away, a little bit like Mexico in '86 when we had a round of hornets' nests every few seconds. But the referee still waiting for the television to give him the say-so, the young referee from New Zealand. Be a very interesting game for him today, but we've seen the 2 games so far, very sporting games so far, and I'm sure that the fair play edict of FIFA will be continued.
Well, Michael Hester still looking for a signal from away to his left. Frustrating for many people involved, but finally he gets this game underway, and it's South Korea who have possession in the right back position on the far side. The Greek team then, Alexandros Sorbas is the goalkeeper for them. He kept 2 clean sheets in the playoffs against Ukraine to get them to these World Cup finals. At the back, a slightly changed formation. Torosides, Papadopoulos, Vintra and Sotirides are the defenders. Olympiakos are represented on 2 counts with Torosides and Papadopoulos. The midfield, 3-man midfield, consists of captain Karagounis, 33 years of age, Katsaranis, who was a key player in the 2004 Euros victory, and Soilis, who's the 6'3" defensive midfielder for them. The striking 3 are Georgios Samaras of Celtic, who we expect to play down the right-hand side, Theophanis Gekis, who was the top scorer in European qualifying for the World Cup, and Angelos Karasteas, who many Greek fans will never forget for scoring the winner in that Euro 2004 competition against Portugal. Well, South Korea have possession on this near side, their left, with their captain Park Ji-sung, but he's lost the ball, and Greece play it up towards the halfway line where Gekis is waiting, but he can't control it, and it's lofted back into the Greece half, up towards the halfway line again. This time Gekis does get a touch and nods it towards Samaras, steps away from a challenge by Cha Do-ri, midway inside the South Korea half, into the penalty area, flicked away by a defender and out for a corner kick to Greece.
Yeah, it was a good early ball by Samaras. Cho Young-hong just got his head onto that ball and deflected it for a corner, but we saw the value of the early cross. Samaras, very much a right-footed player, playing on the left-hand side. Expect him to cut in and look to shoot whenever the opportunity presents itself.
I suspect we might see Karasteas and Samaras switching flanks possibly during this game, but the corner's going to be taken by their captain, Karagounis. Right wing corner, near side as we look away to our right. Karagounis then, low ball to the near post, flick towards the edge of the 6-yard area, and on the half volley it's put over the crossbar by Torresides.
Yeah, it was the left back there coming in, a tall guy coming in from the corner. It was flicked onto him and he reacted as quickly as he could, but unfortunately he steered it, unfortunately for Greece, just past the post. The Koreans there must remember to concentrate at all times, particularly to pick up defenders coming late from deep.
South Korea have it then, just a couple of minutes played here in Port Elizabeth on 5 Live. But Greece have won it back once more, making the better start in this game. Karagounis back towards the halfway line to find Satirides, and then it's further back into the Greece half where Lucas Vintra, who's switched into central defence today, normally plays at right back, plays it in field, and the long ball forward is too long and it's out for a South Korea goal kick.
Yeah, ball runs quite well on this surface. You've got to play the ball to feet, but at the same time we didn't see any watering of the field before the game, so I don't think it'll run on too quickly. It's a great passing surface. It's a beautiful green baize and perfect conditions. There is no wind at all.
Goal kick taken by Jung Sung Ryong from away to our right. The ball bounces inside the Greece half and then is lofted clear by Vintra once more, out for a throw-in. The ball lands in the arms of the South Korea coach Hoo Jung-moo, who scored in the 1986 World Cup. The South Korea, who now come forward down the right-hand side. Loftus' shot is blocked by a Greek defender, and eventually it's away down the far side of the field by Torresides, picked up by Georgios Samaras. A yard in from the touchline on the Greece left. Hustled out of the ball unfairly, says referee Hester. It's a free kick to Greece. I mentioned Hoo Jung-moo, they're scoring in the 1986 World Cup. Otto Rehagel, David Pleat, 71 years of age. He's never been to a World Cup as a player or a manager. Quite surprising.
No, but he hasn't lost his appetite for the game. This could be his last World Cup, of course. There's much talk in Greece of asking him to take a drop in salary, as many people in Greece have had to do, and I'm sure he will have to do if he wants to stay.
His captain Karagounis takes the free kick from the Greece left, ball into the penalty area. South Korea struggling to deal with it, but part of that reason was because one of their players was fouled, and they have a free kick on the edge of their penalty area. Just approaching 5 minutes, it's still South Korea 0, Greece 0.
What will be interesting to see how the Greek centre-back partnership of Papadopoulos and Vintra cope. Normally it's Moras and the Liverpool centre-half Kyriakis, who normally play in that important centre-back role. We know that the Koreans will switch. They are quick players and they will break from midfield very quickly, particularly Yong Ki-hum and Kim Soo-young.
They're doing so down the left-hand side here. South Korea, the ball played into the penalty area by Park Chu-yong, defended by Greece, but collected once more by South Korea on this near side there left, up towards the edge of the Greece penalty area. The ball is at the feet of Lee Yun-pyo, who you all know well, David Pleat.
Well, I know him as well as most people. He's very much a right-footed player, so from left back sometimes when he gets forward he's not able to put that ball in with his left foot with any accuracy. He has to manoeuvre the ball and come on his inside and look to play the pass. But he was a great supporter, or Hiddink was a great supporter of his ability at PSV, and of course after he came to Tottenham he's had 2 or 3 clubs very quickly. Finished up in the Arab Emirates at Al Hilal, and he's 33 now. He seems to have got old very quickly.
South Korea have a free kick right by the quadrant of the corner flag on this near side, swung in towards the edge of the 6-yard area, and Greece don't deal with it, and South Korea have taken an early lead, and it's been scored by Lee Young-so, unmarked at the far post. South Korea 1, Greece 0.
There's the centre-back coming in late, a deflected ball He was only 2 or 3 yards off the line when he just tapped that ball in at the back post. It was an in-swinging ball, almost wasn't a corner, it was a free kick. It got deflected. I think it was deflected by the number 21, Katsarounis, and then it finished up right on the far post. Greece had no one defending on the line, which is important, I feel, and the centre-back came in and gratefully accepted a wonderful opportunity to put South Korea in a great mood.
Well, Katsarounis actually flicked the ball on towards the back post, which might not have helped the rest of the Greek defence. And after 6.5 minutes, South Korea break the deadlock in Group B. 5 Live Sport from the BBC, live in Port Elizabeth. First match of the day, as Samaras tries to chase down the ball on the far side of the field, but it strikes the corner flag and goes out for a throw-in to South Korea in the right-back position. Of course, later today, Argentina against Nigeria in this group, and then, of course, in Group C, full commentary from Rustenburg, England versus the USA.
Now we'll see the philosophy of the South Korean manager, Hoo Young-moo. Will he want them to keep going forward? A second goal, of course, would be a dramatic start for them, or a more dramatic start for them. And that is what they will be wanting. They're going to keep players up the front. They're moving quickly now over the halfway line.
They are dangerous on the counter-attack, but Greece have the ball back again. On the far side, left edge of the penalty area, played into the box, and eventually it strikes a South Korea player on the way out of the area and out for a corner kick, and it was a run forward there by Vasilis Torosidis, which was causing problems.
Yeah, Kim Jong-nu got that ball really whacked at him, and he was unable to prevent the ball from going for a corner kick,
which will be taken again by Georgios Karagounis. High ball to the far post. Struggling to get there was Jung Sung Ryong, the goalkeeper, but he claws the ball away, and it's cleared upfield towards the halfway line, where South Korea actually picked the ball up. Hesitation by Greece, who are now caught out of the back here. Only 3 blue shirts against 4 in red. South Korea, right edge of the area. That's a strong challenge in central defence by Papadopoulos, and Greece get away with it.
Oh, tremendous opportunity wasted there. They had almost a 4v2 coming after that corner kick, which I thought was well deflected by the goalkeeper, Jung Sung Ryong, and it was Kom Si-hung who really messed it up. He had a great opportunity there, the 27-year-old from Suwon. He's got 34 caps, and he should have done better there, because they had a great opportunity, South Korea. They had a man over, 2 men over at one time, and it was wasted. He was overdoing it, and the ball got tackled away by the Greek defence, but they've won a free kick.
In the sunshine in Port Elizabeth, it's sent into the penalty area, headed away by Papadopoulos into central midfield now, where Karagounis is waiting, and he's bundled off the ball unfairly by a South Korea player, and it's going to be a ball out on the far side of the field for Georgios Samaras. Let's head to Perth now and get an update.
Well, Australia lead by 21 points to 17 here, Mike, with 10 minutes left to play. Another penalty try for England after at least 5 minutes of scrummaging. The Wallabies repeatedly bringing it down, and they lost one of their props to the sin bin. So they're at 14 men. 10 minutes left to play. Australia 21, England 17.
Thank you, Alistair. Ball is with Karagounis in midfield for Greece on the far side there left. Trailing through an early goal by South Korea, but Greece coming forward now. Good defending. The ball shepherded back to Jung Sung Ryong, and it was a challenge there from Angelos Karisteas, who we've seen very little of so far.
Yes, he had a chance there to get onto a bit of a through ball towards the edge of the box, but he didn't show enough pace. 30-year-old now, plays his football in Germany.
South Korea have the ball inside the Greece half. That's a foul. It's going to be a free kick to South Korea out on the far side of the field there, right, bathed in sunshine. It's a glorious day. We were in Port Elizabeth yesterday, where it was very cloudy and very chilly in these parts, but today, real contrast for the opening game at this venue, which will also stage England's match against Slovenia later in the group stages. And I suspect that there'll be more seats occupied on that occasion, because even though it's a 42,500 seater stadium, I don't know, maybe 2/3 full at best, David.
Yes, I would say 2/3 full. Certainly in the hospitality seats, which is probably on the 3rd tier, they are really very empty, rather forlorn looking, really empty seats on the 3rd tier. On the lower tiers, much fuller and very, very colourful.
just to add that on 5 Live Sports Extra you can hear commentary of the Rugby Union, Australia against England. But here on 5 Live, we've had 11.5 minutes of play. South Korea 1, Greece 0 in Group B at the 2010 FIFA World Cup. It's a goal kick to South Korea. Young Sung Ryong in a resplendent silvery grey uniform and bright white gloves will take this goal kick from away to our right. And there was some relief in this commentary team that only 3 Lees, 2 Parks and 1 Kim were playing today, because South Korea have 7 Kims in their squad. And of course, David Oates mentioned before kick-off, Papas Stathopoulos is on the bench at the moment for Greece, the man with the longest name in the tournament. There's Samaras, much more pronounceable, who loses possession, and South Korea have it on the far side.
Yeah, Samaras losing possession quite easily there, and Chardou-Rui, the full-back, takes the play up for Korea, going down that right. Quite ambitious when they go forward, these South Koreans.
Certainly in the shape of Chardou-Rui, who has the ball at the moment. The right back, though, moving down the right wing, just outside the penalty area. Char tries to cross. Good interception there on the far side of the field by Torosidis, and it's a throw-in to South Korea 5 yards short of the corner flag, which Char takes.
Yeah, we mustn't underestimate the South Koreans. They're playing their football in good countries. Chardou-Rui plays in Freiburg in Germany, so they play against good opposition week in, week out.
And that's a great header into the penalty area, which evades Lee Chung-yong, the Bolton Wanderers midfielder, who was charging in there from the supportive header by Park Chu-yong, and eventually it dribbles out for a Greece goal kick away to our left. And in contrast to his opposite number at the far end of the field, Alexandros Sorvas is in a bright yellow uniform today, and of course we see a lot of yellow around South Africa, and there are spots of it around this stadium, this Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium, which is neatly positioned on the edge of the North End Lake, and what is a very, very laid back and quite impressive city here, David.
Absolutely. Just saw probably a little hint that Korea could get the balance. The Monaco centre forward Park Chu-yong getting the leap on Vintra, who's coming at centre back. He was a high ball to the back post, headed back cleanly across the goal and just escaped the attention of Lee Chung-yong, the Bolton boy. But once again, 1 or 2 questions just being asked by the Koreans. Once again, the right fullback going forward way over the halfway line. Both fullbacks showing much ambition, which they are allowed to do because basically they have 2 sitting players.
Here they come again into the penalty area, claims for a penalty, but 4 Greece defenders have to deal with the threat there of Lee Chung-yong, who again was causing problems inside the 6-yard box. And South Korea, after almost 15 minutes of play, are not only ahead but controlling this game. And it's not really a surprise given the build-up to this tournament, David, when you think that they only suffered 1 defeat in 4 friendlies in the lead-up to this, and that was against Spain, and that was provided by a late goal.
Yes. Well, they also lost, I think, to the Serbia. That was the game at Fulham. South Korea lost, where they looked pretty effective. Obviously lost 1-0 also to Spain, but that gives you an idea of their ability. They could easily be dark horses. Everyone is suggesting that Argentina and Nigeria should be relatively comfortable in this group. We know from past experience that doesn't happen.
South Korea comfortably in control of this game in front of their manager Hu Young-moo. South Korea just knocking the ball around inside their own half. Very patient build-up, no need to hurry. Greece having to watch on. A succession of passes. Eventually the ball finds its way into the Greece half, and eventually it goes down the right side to Char. Ducks infield, plays it forward. That's an offside though against Park Chu-yong. And the poster boy of South Korea, who plays for Monaco in France, is unable to capitalise.
Yeah, very, very good decision by the assistant. One of the assistants is from New Zealand. I will have to say that so far this is the 3rd game, and we've seen some very good officialing, very good assistants, very accurate decision making on those vital offside decisions.
Of course, it must be a nervy time for referees like Michael Hester of New Zealand, who's never refereed at a World Cup finals before. But so far so good, as Greece have it inside the South Korea half, trailing by a goal to 0. Here's Papadopoulos across the back to this near side, the Greece right. Lucas Vintra, born in the Czech Republic, but moved to Greece at the age of 9. Plays it in, and it's played forward again, flicked away inside the penalty area by South Korea's Chu Young-Hong, and it's a corner kick to Greece.
Superb ball put in by Katsarounis from a right midfield position towards that back post. Could have been really dangerous. South Korea were on top of that, decent defending, but once again they conceded that far corner on that right-footed in-swing going to come in. Last time it tested Young Sung-ryong, the goalkeeper, and he just clawed it away. What do we have this time?
To the near post from Karagounis. It's headed away by Park Ji-sung, and it's going to be another corner for the Greece captain to take in the sunshine on the far side away to our right.
Solid defending, everyone in the box, Koreans defending, 2 on the edge, no one up the field, determined to get this ball away.
Swung in again to the near post by Karagounis. Again, not very effective, and it's headed away, this time for a throw on the far side of the field, which Greece will take. Back towards Torresidis, into the penalty area, towards the back edge of the 6-yard box, but headed away by South Korea. Now Greece, average height of 6 feet, you'd have thought would have done better there, but they haven't, and they're now having to defend. But it's a loose pass in midfield by Kim, and Greece have it back once more. Yeah, average height of 6 foot in that Greece side against South Korea.
Yep, they are the taller side. South Korea are the quicker side. South Korea will want to keep the ball on the deck. They want to move the ball quickly, and they will try and exploit any ageing legs. And also, I've noticed early on,
here's a chance inside the penalty area. Gekis trying to find some room, flicks it to the back post. It's just beyond Georgios Samaras. Left-hand angle of the penalty area, and he's forced to go back into midfield. Katsarounis then plays the ball towards the right-hand side. Is it kept in play? No, it's not. The attempted pass was for Sitiridis, and it's out of play for a goal kick.
Yeah, Sitiridis, once a hero, of course, hero of Greece in the 2004 competition, just failing to keep that ball. But I've noticed that Ray Hargel's tactics at times is to hit that deep, that diagonal ball. They think they have got the ascendancy in the aerial stakes. They've got Gekas, they've got Samaras, who comes in from the left when the ball's on the right, and Charisteas, who also attacks the back post when the ball's on the opposite side. So that's a ball that we can look for, the cross ball from deep in towards the box, to see if they can manage to get some headers on goal.
South Korea 1, Greece 0 in Port Elizabeth on 5 Live. 19 minutes played. Argentina against Nigeria to come on 5 Live, and England, the USA tonight. In the meantime, let's head to Perth, where Australia are playing England in the Rugby Union. Alistair Eakin.
Quade Cooper's just banged over another penalty for the Wallabies to stretch their lead to 27 points to 17. We've got half a minute left to play. England have done all they can in this second half, but they've just been missing a cutting edge. Australia 27, England 17. A few seconds to go.
We'll hope for better tonight in the football for England in Rustenburg. Here's Samaras for Greece. Inside the South Korea half, lofts a rather hopeful ball forward for Theophanis Gekas to chase, and he can't do so. And it's now back with South Korea. Gekas was at Portsmouth, and he played, well, I looked up the statistics, 1 minute for Portsmouth when on loan last year.
Yes, that didn't have a good time, did he? But he has scored 6 of the 10 goals in qualification. 6 of his 10 goals were against Latvia. He scored 10 goals actually, but 6 of them were against Latvia. So he's 30 years old, he's got 47 caps. He's the pin man, or the very front man of this Greek combination, which really looks more like a 4-1-3-2 to me. But of course it's flexible depending where the ball is positioned at any one time. But he has support, particularly when the ball goes into the box.
The ball is heading towards that penalty area now, and it's Karagounis who's moved forward to try and reach it. Cleared at the back by South Korea, and now it's in midfield with Kim. But his ball forward is poor once more, and now Greece, who are beginning to get a little bit of a foothold in this game, have some possession once more.
Yes, ball currently with the right back, playing the ball steadily across the back, taking their time. South Korea just backtrack, give them possession, don't waste energy harassing or hustling and trying to win the ball too early. Quite content to get their shape and to just retreat.
Will play forward by Greece again, but it's too strong a pass, and the defending wasn't particularly good by the goal scorer Lee Jung-so, and he's conceded a corner, another corner for Georgios Karagounis to take. This is the first of 8 matches to be played in Port Elizabeth. England, Slovenia, as I mentioned earlier, but this is also the venue for the 3rd and 4th place playoff later in the tournament. And in front of 2 very bristly waved Greece flags, it's sent in by Karagounis from the right, headed away by South Korea. Back in once more, out comes Jung to punch clear. But again, Greece loft it forward, hopefully this time, and high into the D. Looked like a shove maybe on one of the Greece players, Karasteas, but the ball is cleared, and South Korea again break in numbers. Down the right-hand side, in towards the edge of the penalty area. Kim plays it, gets a return pass from Park Chu-yong, back into the penalty area. Park then tries to shoot on the turn, and that's one of the hardest things to do, running at the ball and then send it back the other way towards goal. But that's going to be a goal kick to Greece. Well, we're midway through the first half here in Port Elizabeth. We'll hear the thoughts of David Pleat, and then David Oates will take you through to half-time. But let's quickly go to Perth again. Alistair Eakin.
Well, the wait continues for England. Australia have won here by 27 points to 17. England hammered away in the second half. They were awarded 2 penalty tries, such as their dominance in the scrum, but they had very little else by way of a cutting edge. The Wallabies scored 3 tries, 2 from Quade Cooper, 1 from Rocky Elsom. Cooper's second, questionable owing to a forward pass, but still, England outplayed. Australia 27, England 17 full-time.
Thank you, Alistair. 1-0 to the South Koreans here then in Port Elizabeth, and South Korea in possession down this near side with Lee. Plays it into Ji-sung Park, who strokes that ball into the penalty area, but immediately off his line is Zorvas, the Greek goalkeeper. I think, David Pleat, if South Korea had just managed to pick out a better final ball on 2 or 3 occasions, they could almost have put this game to bed already.
Yes, they have broke well, and that's where they look dangerous. I would say it's a case of South Korea breaking well. The Greek side must make sure that the midfield players, particularly Katsourounis, holds his ground to cope with that counter-attacking. On the other hand, when the Greeks get the ball, they are looking to exploit the aerial power of their front men.
Former Luton and Tottenham manager David Pleat with us on 5 Live. This is the first of 3 commentaries on the second day of this South African World Cup, and the ball is with Lee in the heart of that South Korean defence. They do, as David says, like the ball, played along the floor. They're not the biggest of teams, although the goalkeeper they've chosen the biggest of their 3 goalkeepers, the 6'3" Jung, and he's done well so far on the crosses because the defenders are not the tallest, and Greece definitely have the height advantage. Ji-sung Park might get on the end of a loose ball. He has to, and he's been pulled back for a foul, and for me that was not a free kick. I made that a slip by the Greek defender, and I thought Ji-sung Park won that ball fair and square there, and he was clear on goal. I've just seen it again, and I cannot see anything wrong with that at all.
No, it was a stumble, and the referee was deceived by that.
Here's Cho for South Korea, just outside his own penalty area, puts his foot through the ball and just boots it in towards the advertising hoardings onto the far side of this lovely stadium here in Port Elizabeth, and the side is bathed in sunshine over there. We're in the shade, but it's 66 degrees here in the Eastern Cape today, so it is absolutely perfect for football. There's hardly any wind whatsoever. The pitch, as David Pleat has said already, is really, really good, or it certainly looks it from here. We are a long way up in the gods, but right on the halfway line, more or less, as South Korea look to protect this lead. 6th minute lead. Lee Jung-soo, the scorer, the central defender, volleying in from close range. The Greeks keeping it at the moment. Saitarides down this near side, and the ball's worked out to Karagounis, the captain, but he's given it away. You can probably hear the vuvuzelas in the background. I think most of those are being blown by the local population. Lots and lots of South African fans here, lots of yellow as well as the red of South Korea and the blue of the Greeks. There's a reasonable sized Greek population in Port Elizabeth, so they've got some local support, whereas I think most of the Korean support has come over from Asia towards Africa, and the ball is knocked into the Greek penalty area again. This time it was in the air and nothing really the forwards can do with a ball like that. Now Greece get a lucky break down this near side. Here's Karasteas just outside the penalty area. Good covering. Across comes Cho, and the ball out of play for a throw-in to Greece. Level with the edge of the penalty area. Right-hand side, the Koreans winning 1-0.
Yeah, good interception after Sorvas, the goalkeeper, took advantage to try and place an early ball into the path of Karasteas.
Saitarides takes the throw-in. They've got the return ball from Karagunis. Ball just comes off a South Korean defender. It's a repeat throw-in. Saitarides again turns the ball infield, and the Greeks go backwards. This is Vintra, who's playing in central defence this afternoon. It's a decent ball towards the edge of the penalty area, and then it comes to Saitarides. It's well blocked though by the former Spurs left back Lee, and now here's Park, the Manchester United man, who plays a delightful ball through. They're clear on goal here. This could be 2-0. Oh, it's a really good save. Really good save from Zorvas. Put the ball over the crossbar. It's behind for a corner, but that should have been 2-0.
Once again, the speed of the attack caught the Greek defence out. It was an interception originally by Lee Young-po, and when the ball was played through, it was Park Chu-young who went onto it. He's the 24-year-old forward from Monaco, and it was a brilliant save which has made the ball spiral just over the crossbar and land on the top of the net, and give South Korea the chance of a corner kick. Could have been the vital second goal.
Well, they've got 5 players inside the penalty area. The corner comes in. That's a good clearing header though by the Greek defenders. It was Torosides who got that ball away, and then, well, it's worked out towards this near side. The intended target was Lee, the left back on the left flank, but it's way over his head and out of play. And really, Park Chu-young, as David says, played in the French Cup final for Monaco. Very clever man, IQ of 150 apparently, but that wasn't the brightest finish.
He wouldn't get in this commentary team then?
No, he's way behind us three, I'd say.
We'll learn to work the phones tomorrow.
Well, I've had problems with the heater in my bedroom. I couldn't work that. I thought the thing to control it next to the bed was a telephone.
They're more advanced than we think. They're all automatic.
A ball lofted forward by Jung, the South Korean goalkeeper. Could easily be 2-0, 3-0, perhaps even 4-0 here to South Korea. All that after the Greeks had a decent chance, I thought, in the second minute. Half volley came to him quickly. Torosides put the ball wide. Since then, all the chances really have gone the way of South Korea, and the Greeks look very, very open at the back when South Korea break. Here's Park. Manchester United's Park just touches the ball forward, given away by Yom, but Park gets it back, and then he's muscled out of it by Saitarides, and the Greek wins the free kick from the Kiwi referee just inside his own half. David Pleat.
Yeah, the pattern of the game staying the same. Korea looking to break quickly. Park Ji-sung, the Manchester United player, very good with the ball, good with his passing, very industrious, playing on the left, slightly forward. They're playing with an orthodox centre forward, Park Chu-young, who's just missed that chance, and the other English-based player, Lee Chung-young, on the other side of the field, also looking quality when he has the ball in possession.
Well, the right back Char's just given the ball away, but I've been generally impressed with him thus far. He plays in Germany for Freiburg, and he's done well in an attacking sense. They're going forward again. The ball's played into Yom, but he can't reach it. Off his line very, very quickly there. Zorvas, the Greek goalkeeper, out to the edge of his box. They're just not quite getting the final pass correct.
No, inches away, but good defending there. The goalkeeper Zorvas is having to be more alert than the goalkeeper at the other end. But Papadopoulos and Vintra, the two centre-backs, as we said earlier on, are going to be so important to them. It's a combination that's come together for this game, and they have to keep close together. If one attacks the ball, the other one has to get behind him and make sure or anticipate a possible mistake. They must cover each other, because if they don't, they have enough speed, the South Koreans, to get beyond them and to get a chance at goal.
Lee, the left-back, takes the throw-in. Right on halfway, gets the return. This is Park, Ji-sung Park. Lee again has it, again on the halfway line. Good tackle coming in from Karasteas. Well, the referee thought otherwise, actually. He has blown for a free kick. Maybe it took a little bit of the man as well as all of the ball there. But I think the Greeks have got quite a bit of work to do. King Otto, as they know, Otto Rehhagel, who will be 72 in August. notably, usually very defence-minded. He actually said before this tournament, if you want exciting football, we'll play exciting football when we have Messi, Kaka, Iniesta and Xabi. But I think they've been very open, actually, the Greeks, and very attack-minded, even though they haven't looked like scoring.
Yes, I saw them play Paraguay recently in a friendly, and I thought in that game, although they played with forwards up the field, it wasn't as if they played just one up and a very deep midfield five, lacking support and isolating that front man. I still felt, although they played players up front, they didn't look as though they were likely to get goals. They don't look as though they've got that subtlety, that cleverness, that ability to dribble at close quarters, and that ability to deceive defenders with a bit of clever footwork. You know, they're relying on the bigger ball, the higher ball into the box, and hoping they may get a free header or a knockdown to give someone else a shooting opportunity. I can't see them at the moment working the ball towards the bylines of the field, towards the high corners.
A little bit of defending here for Shah to do, and he does it well. He puts the ball out of play on that far side. It was the fullback Torresides who is trying to get by him. Shah concedes a corner. Well, thus far I would have to say that I don't think the Greeks have worked quite as hard as the South Koreans. Whether that's by accident or design, I'm not sure. Karagounis about to take this corner. South Korea leading Greece by a 1-0 on 5 Live. That ball is played in towards the edge of the 6-yard box. There's one clearing header and then a second from Park. The ball's out over onto the far side, and there's a foul. Surely, well, the referee says it wasn't a foul. It's just a throw into the Koreans.
I'm sure we'll get a wealth of statistics at half-time thrown in our laps, but at the moment I would have suggested Greece have probably had 7, even 8 corners. Karagounis has been knocking them in from the left and the right-hand side, but so far they haven't been able to capitalise on those in-swinging balls.
The Greeks are way ahead of the Koreans in the FIFA rankings. I was actually surprised to find that Greece are as high as 13. I know they're not absolutely perfect as a system, the FIFA ranking system. South Korea are 47. But the Koreans have been the better side thus far in this one. They've had a wretched build-up, though, to the World Cup, Greece. David's just mentioned they lost to Paraguay. They also lost at home to Senegal, and they drew 2-2 with North Korea. That was obviously a warm-up to see what type of opposition we can expect here. This is another foul by the Greeks, and Korea have it inside their own half.
Yeah, we should never lose sight of the fact, of course, that though there's 32 teams now competing in the World Cup, and of course it started off with 16 and then it became 24, and when England won it in 66 I think it was 24, but I have to say this, 205 countries started this competition, you know, so to get to the last 32, you know, you have to give credit to any side that has come to South Africa,
and particularly one like the Greeks with a population. They've only got a 10 million population to go at. It's 1-0 to South Korea. It is South Korea coming forward as well, but that ball way overhit by Park Ji-sung. Not really gave his fullback any chance. His fullback had advanced beyond him, Lee. So it's a Greek throw-in down by the edge of their own penalty area on this near side, the right-hand side. Still those vuvuzelas being blown by the home supporters. I would say there's probably only 3,000 or 4,000 actually committed Greeks and Korean supporters inside the stadium. The vast bulk, judging by the yellow shirts they're wearing, are South Africans who just love their football. Over on the far side, the left-hand side, as the Greeks attack, they try to build there, but again it's a good touch from Cha and an opportunity for Korea to go forward, but once again they've been hauled back for a free kick.
When South Korea have possession in the middle of the field, the two full-backs, particularly Lee Young-po and Charduri, want to get forward very quickly, and they're content to play with the two centre-backs and the holding midfield players whilst their full-backs go forward. Once again a high ball deep and diagonally, this time from Sitoridis, that came to nothing, harmlessly went out at the far post, but once again that higher ball delivered towards the area where Samaras should have been attacking, which comes to nothing.
They've got to be more accurate, the Greeks. You can see the tactics, you can see what they're doing or what they're trying to do, and you can see why they are trying to do it. Those high balls, Samaras has clearly got the edge in height on the full back over on the far side, Cha, but the ball comes very quickly up to the edge of the Greek penalty area. It's played touched sideways by Kai, who is on Celtic's books but didn't get a look in once Neil Lennon succeeded Tony Mowbray on the east side of Glasgow. It's a throw into South Korea. You're listening to 5 Live. The Koreans leading the Greeks here in the first of 3 games this afternoon. All 3 in full, of course, on 5 Live. Korea in possession midway inside the Greek half. And it is Kai who plays the ball out to the far side to Char. Can he send over a decent cross? He can't, because it's blocked by a combination of Greek defenders. But Char will be able to take the throw in, and he does. Takes it short and finds Lee, Bolton's Lee. Then it comes back into the midfield, and Korea happy to build from the back with the central defender Lee Jung-soo. Finds Lee Young-pyo, and he nearly gave the ball away there. He wasn't overly careful in possession there, but the other Lee's got it now. Incredible, really. 250 surnames, I'm told, in Korea, but the vast majority you can whittle down to the 3: Lee, Kim or Park.
Well, don't worry, David, I believe on your schedule, unless the South Koreans advance, you won't have them too often, so I know how hard you've been studying the names.
I think I've got another one. I think I see them again.
Oh, well, you'll enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yes,
well,
I think we do. I think we do see them again.
Enjoy their performance so far. They are playing better than the Greeks, no question about it, and they lead by a 1-0. They are being penalised a lot of late by the New Zealand referee. They can be quite physical, Korea, and the Greeks have a free kick. They won't want to give too many of them away, but this isn't shooting range. It's taken and played to Saitaridis on this near side for Greece. Back in field to Karagounis, and then Karagounis was definitely fouled. The referee might have played advantage because he went back to the full back, but he's blown for another free kick, and Karagounis again will whip this in.
Yeah, the South Koreans getting very tight, trying to block the crosses.
Well, he's the playmaker, is Karagounis. He was actually suspended for the Euro 2004 final, having played a great part in getting Greece to that final. That was a poor ball in, and it's Char who's run half the length of the field, and just for a moment Park almost through on goal. Last ditch tackle from Vintra, a good tackle too, and just as well for the Greeks it was. The goalkeeper Zorvas clears it down to this near side, and Saitaridis plays the ball infield now, still inside their own half. The Greeks back with the full-back Saitaridis over the halfway line to Gekas, just about kept that ball in play, had to drop very deep to look for it. And the Greeks so far, with only 6 minutes to half-time, they're trailing 1-0, and I think they've been very disappointing indeed.
Well, they haven't been able to get a clear shot at goal, other than the deflected shot that came from the corner kick when the left-back Torosidis stabbed the ball wide. Generally speaking, they're playing enough balls towards the South Korean defensive area, but they are coping with it. And so far, Young Song Ryong, the goalkeeper, hasn't had any shots, major shots to deal with. I think that's an important barometer of the game.
Yes, he's had one cross that he dealt with very, very well early on. He's had one punch. He decided he couldn't catch the ball on that occasion, so he punched it, but it was a good punch. He got 30, 40 yards on it, and that's okay. Yeah.
He's done nothing wrong so far, but he hasn't been tested.
And the Greeks will be disappointed by that. Here's Karagounis again, seeing an awful lot of the ball. Finds Samaras, back to Karagounis, and then gives the ball out to that far side to Torosidis, the full-back, who canters over the halfway line, being tracked by Kai. Plays it forward to Samaras, and Samaras, well, he did get the last touch there, according to the referee, because the ball is out of play, and he's given the throw-in to South Korea. So 5 minutes to go in this first half. The Koreans leading the Greeks by 1-0. The scorer Lee Jung-soo, close-range volley. After the Greeks didn't clear a free kick, it means that the Koreans are 1-0 up. And don't forget to come in Johannesburg after this match, Argentina against Nigeria. That's in this group. And then, of course, tonight in Rustenburg, I'm sure you'll all be tuning in for England against the USA. Here's Park Ji-sung. That's a really good tackle on Park. He was dispossessed just as he was moving threateningly towards the penalty area. The Greeks have it now on halfway with Saitaridis. Looks inside and finds the big number 6 Ziolis crossing the halfway line. Ball played out to this near side, the right hand side, but it was poor control from Karagounis. And there's about 6 South Korean players all within spitting distance of that ball, and no Greek at all. Ball played forward. Little bit of space here for Park. Park tries the shot left-footed way over the crossbar, but they backed off and backed off and backed off, and you couldn't blame Park for having a go from distance. In the end, it cleared the crossbar by some distance.
My eyes were focused then on the recovery runs of Tisolius and Katsouronis in midfield, and when they lost the ball, there wasn't that urgency to go back and to retrieve the situation, and that gives a problem for the Greek back four, because the South Korean players are able to get goal side of their midfield players and run at the Greek back four, and you don't want to do that. You want to have someone confront them before they get to the centre back pairing.
I think that comes back to what I was saying, is I don't think the Greeks are working as hard as the Koreans. I don't know whether they're capable of working quite as hard.
They just need to hold the ground a little bit. I think particularly Katsouronis. Karagounis, the midfield playmaker, the veteran midfield player, he's the man they need to get on the ball. He's the schemer, an old-fashioned type player, and they continue to have to get their full-backs forward. But once again, if their build-up is slow, then the South Koreans are able to get back in numbers and defend the box, particularly when eventually that higher cross ball comes in.
And just as David was talking, there was a case in point, because that was slow to the point of ponderous, to be honest, and it was a shocking pass at the end of it. Karagounis couldn't keep it in, and South Korea have a throw in midway inside their own half. We've not seen either physio on, so I don't think there'll be too much in the way of stoppage time. 2.5 minutes to play in this first half. South Korea leading Greece by 1-0 on 5 live. Ball played short to Papadopoulos by his goalkeeper Zorvas. I think this tempo will be absolutely right up the street of the Koreans. They're not bothered. They've got everybody virtually behind the ball. They thought they'd won a throw in there. Park Ji-sung hasn't, though. Saitarides takes the throw in for the Greeks. Just behind him is Vintra. Instead he plays the ball to Karagounis, who might have been caught there, I think, by Kim, but the referee says play on. Either he's given an advantage or he didn't see it as a foul. Out to the far side to Todosides. Better looking ball in from Todosides, half cleared by the Koreans. Park's got to get it away, and he hasn't done so. Here's Karagounis. Oh, that's a poor pass. Tried to pick out Charisteas, I think it was, but the ball was 2 yards behind him, and in the end it's easily cleared by Cho.
And I'm looking also, as it comes to half time, this is the first game we've seen live, and that lovely jubbly on the ball that we heard so much about seems pretty normal to me. It's round and it's rolling.
And just for a moment it almost caught out the goalkeeper Jung, but I think a Greek hand may have been in there. Gekas, who hasn't featured very prominently in this first half. Mike Sewell mentioned about his 1 minute on loan at Portsmouth, but we haven't seen a lot of Gekas. And the ball's on the far side, and South Korea will have a throw-in, which Cha will take. We're into the final minute. If you can hear any chanting in the background, over on that far side, I think it is the Koreans who are enjoying this first half much more than the Greeks. It's
quite amusing there. Mike was suggesting the ball swerved a little bit in the air just as I was talking about the Ljubljana ball, but Young Sung Ryong, the goalkeeper, he's only got 15 caps, but he's quite experienced in his head. He made it clear when he mishandled that ball that it was the sun that was in his eyes, and immediately pointed to the sun and gave a little wave as though to in mitigation probably of mishandling that ball. But the sun is coming towards the South Korean goal, but certainly at the moment any high ball hasn't been exploited by the Greek forwards.
We're into the last 10 seconds of normal time. A good return ball from Charisteas. Finds the supporting Katsouronis. He plays it out to the far side, and this is Todosides. Decent looking ball in, and the goalkeeper collects just ahead of Charisteas, who stretched his leg, couldn't reach it. Goalkeeper watched it well, never took his eyes off it, and it's into the arms of Jung.
A very penetrative ball in. It was a good ball in, and Charisteas ran across the face of the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper handled it well, because he could have easily been diverted by the oncoming forward, but the referee blows, and 45 minutes of no major incidents, a lot of quality going forward by the South Koreans. That early goal, which they've given them great heart, but so far Greek side has been unable to look to find those opportunities to get shots at the South Korean goal, and the have to play with a probably sharper tempo in the second half, Greece, if they're going to make inroads into this South Korean very athletic and very organised team.
Much improvement required then from the Greeks. Lee Jung-soo, the only scorer, 6 minutes. South Korea 1, Greece 0 at half-time.
Welcome back to Port Elizabeth, the Eastern Cape, where Greece are making a substitution at half-time, and they've taken off their captain, Georgios Karagounis, and put on Christos Pasasoglu, which might be something of a surprise to us. Maybe he's taken a knock in that first half, Karagounis, because when Greece did actually move forward and try to provide a bit of a threat, Karagounis was the one involved, David Pleat. They trail 1-0 here.
Yeah, except that maybe he wasn't moving the ball quick enough, and that might be the reason for the change, but we shall soon see. Interesting at half-time to see at least eight burly groundsmen or assistant groundsmen or volunteer groundsmen, maybe whilst the World Cup is in progress, trying to find divots to fork on the pitch. Well, I couldn't see any, but obviously they're going to make it even more perfect. It looks beautiful, and I'm sure that the manager of the Korean team will be saying to them at half-time, same again, keep the ball on the deck, move the ball quickly, and let's see if we can expose Greece on the counter-attack. Expect Greece to have even more possession this half. It's very close possession-wise, that half, probably 51% to 49%, very close, but this half, Greece have to push on a little bit more, have to take a few more chances, and therefore we'll see Korea on the counter a little bit more quicker possibly, and even more exciting.
Well, Korea have the ball. We just had 30 seconds of the second half played. Lee Jung-so's goal inside the 7th minute is what divides the two sides, and South Korea the better team in that first half. They could have capitalised on their advantage and increased it had it not been on one or two occasions for Zorvas, the Greece goalkeeper. Alexandros Zorvas in goal today. The back four for Greece: Sataridis, Papadopoulos, Vintra and Torosidis. The midfield has changed slightly now. Pasasoglu is now on for Karagounis, so the midfield will consist of him, Katsaranis, Ziolis and Samaras, who's playing out on the left-hand side, with Gekas and Karasteas up front for Greece. South Korea have Jung Sung-ryong in goal. The back four of Cha Du-ri, Cho Yong-hyun, Lee Jung-so, the goal scorer, and Lee Young-pyo, formerly of Tottenham, at the back. Lee Chung-yong of Bolton Wanderers, Ki Sung-yong of Celtic, Kim Jong-woo and Park Ji-sung, familiar to Manchester United fans in midfield, Park Chu-young and Yong Ki-hun, the two strikers for South Korea. And it's they who have possession inside their own half, the shaded part of this pitch at the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium in Port Elizabeth. They're attacking the goal away to our right in this second half, in red shirts, white shorts and red socks. Greece in all bright blue today, and Michael Hester, who's just awarded a throw-in to South Korea on the far side of the field, is our referee. He comes from New Zealand, but he officiates in Australia's A-League. South Korea have it in from the touchline on the far side, their left. Swung into the penalty area, high ball up towards Park Chu-young, headed away by Papadopoulos up towards the halfway line, where South Korea head it forward once more, and there's a rare touch there for Georgios Samaras.
Yes, he's been well held by the fullback Choro D, who's going forward now.
With a right foot shot, which is blocked at close range by Lucas Vintra, and eventually on the far side of the field, Sataridis clears downfield for Greece, but again it's picked up, and already Greece are struggling as they did early on against South Korea in the first half.
Yes, well, Korea having a fair amount of the ball. Greece have to get tight, particularly in the midfield, to stop them making these sharp passes.
Headed away by Papadopoulos, but won again by Park Chu-young. Goes in for a challenge. Papadopoulos makes a good recovery, and Greece have it back. Now inside the South Korea half, but that's poor touch in midfield by Katsaranis. Forward comes South Korea, just outside the penalty area. Moving towards the D, a shot comes in, which is blocked, and then cleared to this near side of the field. It was an effort from Lee Chung-yong, and now his Katsaranis again with another poor pass, this time into no man's land, and it goes out for a throw.
Yeah, more importantly, the reaction after making the pass wasn't good. Arms in the air, gestures as though the fullback wasn't seeking to take advantage of the pace. It was Sataridis, the tall right back, who was hoping would go on to that pass, that shows a discontent within the ranks when someone makes a bad pass and then abuses his teammate for not being on the end of it.
South Korea 1, Greece 0. 4 minutes played in the second half here on 5 Live. To come at 3 o'clock, Argentina against Nigeria from Johannesburg, and then tonight in Rustenburg, a 7:30 kickoff for England against the United States of America. South Korea have possession with Lee Jung-kyo, 33 years of age now, and playing his football in Saudi Arabia, the former Tottenham wing-back. Played into midfield and then back out wide, but there was a foul on Lee, and it's going to be a free kick to South Korea. David Pleat.
Well, Mr. Hester was quick to blow the whistle there. Korea were in possession, building up nicely. By giving the free kick, he's impeded the team that had possession, South Korea, because now Greece are able to get all their players back to defend this ball on the edge of the box, and it's likely to be a high-in swinger.
South Korea had 3 shots on goal in the first half. They're attempting to do the same here with this free kick, which is easily dealt with by Samaras. Greece, on the other hand, they didn't even have a shot on target in the first half, and they did have 6 corners, which Karagounis, who's now departed, took, but they made little of them, despite the height within the Greece side. They have possession now on the halfway line with the Celtic striker Georgios Samaras. Wins the first tackle, can't win the second, and it's brought away by Cho Yong-hyun, who plays his football in Korea.
The front players look a little bit laboured at times, the Greece front players. Gaykas can't really get into the game. Samaras isn't able to produce at the moment, isn't able to get the ball to his feet and to run at people.
They have it on the near side, the South Korea right, with Yong Ki-hun, and he's won a corner kick for South Korea, who are known as Dynamic Korea is their motto, and I think it's fair to say they've been a lot more that than Greece have during this game, and they have a corner now from the right wing, but it'll be an in-swinger from Ki, played into the penalty area, headed away to this near side of the field, and Cha will pick it up. The shaven-headed Cha, quite recognisable there amongst the Korean players, but his pass is poor, and it's going to be a throw-in to Greece in the left-back position, trailing by 1-0.
Yeah, it was a poor selection, trying to get the ball down the line to Yong Ki-hun when he could have played the ball comfortably inside to his centre-back Cho Yong-hong. But he's been quite impressive going forward. We didn't know if he was going to play Charduri at right back. We thought that there was going to be another selection there.
Ball's played forward. Here's Park Ji-sung into the penalty area for South Korea. He shoots and he scores past Sorvas. And South Korea, almost at the same point in the second half, have scored again. And they lead Greece in Port Elizabeth by 2-0.
It was a superbly taken goal. He confronted the goalkeeper as he came out. He drifted towards the left, reversed the ball in with a clever shot. It was only after 5-6 minutes of this half. It was 7 minutes in the first half, and terrific goal in the inside left channel. Once again, the speed of the Koreans taking the Greek defenders by surprise. The 2 centre-backs, Papadopoulos and Vintra, unable to get within range, and it was superbly taken by the Manchester United forward. The hero, the captain, the second goal, vital.
Well, he wheeled away in celebrations, waving his arms in Mick Shannon fashion there as he ran away from goal, Park Ji-sung, and that goal came, as I mentioned in the commentary, 7 minutes into the second half. The first goal came 7 minutes into the first half. And South Korea have a real grasp on this game now, and you can consider this game, David, given that these teams have got to play Argentina and Nigeria in their remaining group matches. This is a key game for them to win.
Oh, it's a key game. Any first game in your group just takes that pressure off, gives them confidence, and when you lose the first game, it looks like a mountain with 2 games to go. You've almost got to win them both. And it's interesting, you know, I saw South Korea play at Fulham against Serbia, and after the game I spoke to Radi Antic, who I know, who's the Serbian manager, and started talking about his team and 1 or 2 of his players, and you know, he said to me he liked the South Koreans. He thought they were very sharp, very quick, terrific fitness, and he thought they were very good outsiders in this tournament, which is interesting coming from a manager of the team that played them.
Well, they've certainly produced today. They put in a good performance so far for their manager Hu Jung-mo, who has playing experience at the World Cup himself 24 years ago in Mexico. and he scored during that tournament as well. He watches on, the 55-year-old, as his team have to defend here. It's into Gekas. The flag is up, though, on the edge of the penalty area. And it was either for offside or a handball. I think either would have resulted in a free kick.
Yeah, I think Gekas just took out his left hand. Here we see the goal being shown again. The Ventra came across, the goalkeeper going to his right. Park cleverly reversing the ball back into the goal with his left foot. Very calmly, coolly taken, as you would expect of a player from the club such as Manchester United.
And of course he's the first Premier League player to score in this World Cup. And they're the first team to score twice in the tournament in what is the third match of World Cup 2010. Tomorrow, incidentally, I mentioned Argentina, Nigeria and England, USA today. Tomorrow there are 3 games as well on 5 Live. Algeria, Slovenia, the other game in Group C, England's group. Germany, Australia. Could be an intriguing tie from Durban in the evening. And then sandwiched between those 2 matches, it's your good friend Radian Tic and his Serbia side against Ghana. It's Papadopoulos for Greece, back to his goalkeeper Zorvas, beaten twice here already as we approach the hour mark in Port Elizabeth. South Korea 2, Greece 0. It's a foul on the touchline on this near side of the field. Koo, the South Korea coach, is up on his feet, and we have our first yellow card of this game, and it's been given to Greece's defender Vasilis Torosidis, who plays his football for Olympiakos.
Yeah, the left back, strong player going forward, but Mr. Hester decides that he has to be punished, so he'll have to be on his best behaviour for the rest of this game. And South Korea get a free kick deep, which Cho Young-hong is going to hoist deep to the edge of the box.
Headed away though by Papadopoulos, and he hooks away at the second attempt. Not very convincing. Here's Park Ji-sung, plays it to the edge of the area, and Torosidis launches it high, but not even as far as the halfway line. And Greece are still struggling here, David, please.
Yes, they're not able to create anything, basically, because they can't counter quick enough. We knew that they were an ageing team. They've got 2 or 3 30-year-olds in the team, but they've got no real speed in any of the wide positions. You don't have to have speed in the wide positions, because provided you've got speed to break through the centre. But I'm looking around at the Greek side, and they're not a team with a lot of pace.
Well, that ball was launched into the penalty area, and despite the fact they made the ball first, the second ball wasn't picked up, and instead it's goalkeeper Jung Sung-ryong who clears from inside his penalty area. 12 minutes of the second half played, South Korea leading 2-0 and looking to extend that lead now. On the right hand side is Park Chu-yong. Cha goes on the overlap. Park plays it infield, left foot shot is blocked at close range by a Greek defender. Samaras then goes back to help his defensive partners, but again they only clear as far as the halfway line, and it's now with Lee Young-pyo. The former Spurs wing-back has it, checks in on his right foot, in line with the edge of the penalty area. Neat ball played into Yom. Square ball in, not the best of passes, but Greece trying to clear once more. Ziolis now to Samaras, and Samaras right-footed sends it down centre field, and I doubt whether the 11 million people of Greece will be very happy with this performance so far.
No, they'll be happy in soul, that's for sure, as they're eating their kimchi and shouting, and there's applauding like they do in South Korea. Wonderful supporters they have, of course. We always all remember the last World Cup when there was such colour and such fantastic support for their team, when under the clever leadership of Gus Hiddink they surprised everyone with a little bit of good fortune from 1 or 2 refereeing decisions, but they really made their mark, and they became every neutral's favourites, I think.
Kimchi, was that something you ate back in Korea?
Very tasty, David will tell you.
What was it?
Well, it was a mix. I'm not a culinary expert. I have to ring my wife.
A platter, was it?
Well, I think we could call it that. It was very nice, very filling.
Greece have a throw-in on this near side of the field, being eaten up at the moment by South Korea here in Port Elizabeth. The ball is with Papadopoulos. There's been a substitution in the meantime for Greece. Georgios Samaras has made way. He's come off the field, and Dimitris Salpagidis has come on as that ball is played forward, and again it's a harmless ball which is straight back to the goalkeeper. South Korea 2, Greece 0, almost at the hour mark in this second half, and they come forward again. It's Park Chu-yong trying to keep the ball in play. He doesn't succeed in doing so, so it's a goal kick to Greece. It looks like Salpagidis has taken up Samaras' position on this left-hand side, slightly more advanced.
Gone on to the wide left area, still pursuing or persevering with Gakis, who's had very little change out of the central defenders up the front. You need to have some trickery, some cleverness from wide positions to try and get beyond the fullbacks, Charduri and Lee Young-po. And so far, Samaras wasn't able to do that in the first half. Neither really Charisteas, who's a second striker really, who likes coming in from that right side, playing with like a three-man front line. You have to have your wide players. One of your wide players really has to have that little bit of cleverness, trickery, the ability to get into advanced positions and to create chances. Greece haven't been able to do that.
No width whatsoever, really.
They have the width, but they haven't got the players in the wide positions to capitalise on being wide.
Free kick for Greece inside their own penalty area, and we're about to have another substitution, a third and final substitution by Otto Rehhagel. He clearly feels his team have not started this second half well, and he needs to do something very quickly. Angelos Charisteas, the match winner at Euro 2004 against Portugal, which won them the trophy, is going to be replaced here by Pantelis Kapitanas, who plays his football in Romania for Star Bucharest, one of the leading scorers in the Romanian league, so maybe we might get a goal from Greece.
Yeah, so we've got a different front line now. We've got Kapitanas, Gakis and Salpagidis. Will they be able to show a little bit more attacking instinct? At the moment, South Korea goalkeeper not troubled. David summed it up very well at half-time. He palmed away a difficult corner well. He punched well on one occasion, and he was well behind an interesting free kick when he was challenged by, I think it was Charisteas coming in, which made it quite difficult for him in the first half. He's been more than competent, the goalkeeper, but in truth has not been really tested.
You're listening to David Pleat on 5 Live, your World Cup station. The first of today's 3 matches at the World Cup finals in South Africa, coming from Port Elizabeth. South Korea 2, Greece 0, to come at 3 o'clock. Argentina versus Nigeria from Johannesburg. And then tonight at 7:30, I think England will grind to a halt when they play the United States in Rustenburg. Full commentary of all 3 matches today. As Greece comes forward, Gekes chases that. It's straight into the arms of Jung, and he distributes the ball early to Lee in the left-back position for South Korea.
That was a lovely pass that by Tisosilis, the midfield player. A forward ball, a good run by the front player, the Gakis.
It's worth pointing out, if you've just joined us on 5 Live, not a full stadium here, the Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium. Lots of empty red seats around this 42,500 capacity venue. And there are some concerns. We were talking to some locals last night. Just here, I'll break slowly as South Korea have possession with Charduri on this near side, their right, attacking the goal away to our right. Good cross as well, headed towards goal and over the top by Park Chu-yong, and that could quite easily have been South Korea 3, Greece 0.
Curving cross from the right. Charduri put it in beautifully. Park Chu-yong definitely, in my view, should have scored and to make the game safe at 3-0. He came in, it was a clear header, and he misdirected it, should have headed it down. The second chance that he had a fine chance in the first half when he went through, and the goalkeeper Sorvas made a great deflected block. So 2 chances now to the centre forward, young centre forward from Monaco. Scored 14 goals in 40 games for his national team, but he's leading the line well.
And here comes South Korea again down the left-hand side here, played in field towards Ki. Now there's lots of space over on the right-hand side for Lee Chung-yong. Lays the ball in, shot at close range, brilliantly blocked there by Lucas Vintra. But Greece completely at 6s and 7s at the back and struggling to deal with the counter-attack of South Korea.
Yeah, they're playing with a little bit of a joie de vivre at the moment, the Koreans, no question about that. Vintra made a great block on the touchline, but they're playing with more movement, they're playing with confidence. And the way they're playing at the moment, a third goal could be imminent. 2/3 of the game gone.
And they're 2 up on Greece. They have a corner here, which is going to be swung in by Yong Ki-hun, left-footed, high to the back post. Zorbas completely stranded as it's headed out towards the far side of the field, and it's going to be a throw-in to South Korea, which Kim wants to take. No, he doesn't. He's going to leave it for Lee Young-pyo as the South Koreans bounce up and down in celebration in the sunshine here in Port Elizabeth, with their team very, very much in the ascendancy. Here's one of the substitutes for Greece. All 3 jokers, as you could call them, have been played by Otto Rehhagel, and this has not been a very good start by Greece in this tournament. One of those players, Kapitanis, tries to get it, but it's cleared into touch on the far side of the field for a Greece throw. I was mentioning earlier, David, Port Elizabeth, they're worried, the locals, that this stadium is just not going to get used. There's no professional team in Port Elizabeth to make use of this once the tournament ends.
My word, what English clubs would do to have a stadium like this, it really is fantastic. And I was most impressed even with the media working area, as good as any, and as bright and as airy and as so much space, as good as any I've seen at any World Cup, no question about that.
Yeah, it's been erected in behind this stadium, and it could easily cater for a huge wedding celebration. I say probably 3 or 4 wedding celebrations, it's that big. But this stadium is very impressive, built last year. Here comes Kapitanis now, scoring all those goals in Romania. His country need him now as he tries to get possession again, but South Korea deal with it, and eventually Lee Young-pyo is fouled, and it's going to be a free kick to South Korea in the left back position, and they lead 2-0.
Yeah, nothing to cheer up the Greek economy here, I'm afraid. Very passive. I wouldn't say ponderous, but they just haven't got enough sharpness to take advantage of any possession they might have from the centre midfield. It must be very frustrating at times for Otto Rehhagel. Of course, he's played a very disciplined game, particularly at the Euro Championships, where he got that fantastic, wonderful achievement to win that, but he didn't do it by playing particularly attractive football. He played it by playing very functional, pragmatic football. Here today, they're getting not outplayed, but outfought by a sharper, quicker, brighter Korean team.
It's a bit like 16 years ago at USA 94, when they literally limped their way through their group, losing to Argentina and Nigeria, who they play in this group again, without scoring goals in any of their 3 matches at the group stages. And again today they've not managed to score in the first 67 minutes.
No, and they conceded 10 as well in that American tournament. It was not good when they got back to Athens.
Here they come though, Gekas in the area, close range, not enough space to execute the overhead kick from 7 or 8 yards out. He was put under pressure there at the back by Cho Young-hyung, but the ball into the penalty area is dangerous.
Yeah, once again, a good penetrating ball. He took it on his chest, he was facing the wrong way, and he tried to do a rather eccentric bicycle kick, but he was challenged as he took the kick by Cho Young-hong and wasn't able to keep the ball down. But he's made 1 or 2 decent breaks. I think the manager was right in taking the 2 wider players of his front 3 off and leaving Gekas on the field. Although he's not the most mobile, he does look a little bit of a threat when he gets into that 18-yard box if they can deliver the right ball to him.
So at the midway point of the second half here in Port Elizabeth, it's South Korea who are heading for victory. They lead Greece by 2-0. And to help David Pleat through to full time, David Oates.
Thanks again, Mike. And at the moment, unless there's a sting in the tail from the Greeks, this looks plain sailing for South Korea. They're 2-0 up. I think really a realistic reflection of the game, and the chances would be 3, possibly 4-0 at the moment to South Korea. So Greece in only their 2nd World Cup finals. As Mike said, 94 was a disaster, losing all 3 games, didn't score a goal, and they haven't looked like scoring one this afternoon thus far either. They just had that 1/2 chance, didn't they, in the 2nd minute. Torosidis put the ball wide. It flashed at him really, and he put the ball wide on the half volley. Other than that, it's been all South Korea. Kimchi, by the way, is pickled cabbage. But I think a better food analogy for this game would be that a number of the Greek players look like they might have had too much moussaka.
Well, we certainly don't. We haven't got chips with everything.
That ball's played forward by Zorvas over the halfway line to Gekas, and then it's out onto that far side for Saitaridis to put the ball in, but easily cleared by Lee Jung-soo. It's turned back into the box, and there is actually a headed chance there, headed opportunity for one of the substitutes, Salpingidis, but all he could do really, he was tumbling backwards, is put it straight at Jung in the South Korea goal.
Yeah, little half chance for Salpingidis, but he was marked quite closely by the right back, Chu Durin, couldn't quite get enough on it. Here's a chance.
Salpingidis has done well, he's pulled the ball back in, and then it's flashed over the bar by Kapitanos. Probably really should have done better there. Well, credit to Salpingidis, he set that up, he worked tirelessly, battled away down this near side, got past a couple of defenders through sheer tenacity more than anything else, I think.
There was a chance, it was a great chance, it came on his left foot, and he hit it early, hit it quickly, and he definitely should have done better. He was unable to keep the ball down as he hit the shot. I think it was Chu Yong-yong who confronted him, but he should have done better. That is Greece's first real opportunity, and one they should have taken.
And we played over 70 minutes of the game here on 5 Live. South Korea 2, Greece 0. 5 Live is your World Cup station. We are at every match, and by that I mean we are in the stadium at every match. Another 2 today, of course, Argentina, Nigeria, virtually straight after this really, and in this group as well. And then of course tonight England against the USA. The Greeks coming forward once more, but again that high ball easily cleared, although they do lack a little bit of height, the Koreans. Their 2 central defenders have done really well in the air. Ball's played in once more, flashes across the goal, and again it's put wide, and I'm not quite sure, but I think Gekas got the final touch, or in fact no, was it Salpingidis? Stuck out his left foot, and in fact the ball has been deflected by a Korean defender, and it's behind for a Greek corner, which will be taken way over on that far side by Torosidis, the fullback, who has got some good crosses in. I think he's probably been the best crosser in the Greece side this afternoon, but again that ball is floated in and it's easily cleared by Lee Jung-soo. The Greeks will try again. High ball into the penalty area. Now, has that come off the number 4 Cho? It has, according to the referee, and it's another corner. David,
another corner. Well, they've forced a few corners, but they haven't capitalised on them. But interesting, when Salpingidis had that half chance, there were 3 blue shirts waiting around that 6-yard box for the chance. They're throwing players forward.
Can they pull a goal back? Well, that corner was a little overhit. Nobody could get their heads to it. Rolls out of the penalty area. It will be turned back in, though. Dangerous looking ball all the way to the back edge to Torosidis, the man who took the corner, and once again it's put behind by Lee Yong-pyo, the former Spurs left back, and it's behind for yet another corner. So they are just reeling a little bit at the back at the moment, the South Koreans, but they do lead by 2-0.
Yeah, well, that was a touch of a fullback Torosidis there. He had a great chance at the back post. He tried to be too clever instead of hitting the ball first time across the 6-yard box.
Here comes another corner from Torosidis. Again, that is far, far too much on that ball. At one bounce and then straight out of play for a throw-in. He didn't really give any of his teammates, and a lot of them had gone forward, as they must do with this 2-goal deficit. Didn't really give them a chance of getting on the end of that. Throw-in then to South Korea, who, as I say, lead here by 2-0. Lee Jung-soo in the 6th minute, Park Ji-sung in the 52nd. They should have had more. Park Chu-young, 1 in each half really he should have had. Denied firstly by a good save in the first half from the goalkeeper Zorvas, and then really with a header that he misdirected. As David says, he should have headed it downwards. Could easily have been 3 or 4-0. The Greeks, if they've got a goal now, might still have half a chance of snatching a draw late on, and they are breaking down the far side with Saitaridis, but he puts his ball behind, and I don't think that touched a Greek defender, although he claims it did. He wants a corner, but the linesman on the far side says no, you put that straight out, and it is a goal kick. David?
Yeah, he was very wide in a very deep position as he played that ball across. He didn't really have the room to get his leg round it, and it flew high and wide. beyond the goal of Young Sung Ryong. And South Korea are going to make a change, probably a little bit of freshness with about 17, 18 minutes to go. They still look dangerous going forward, and it's Kam Nam-il who's going to come on. And this is a player who I thought played excellently when they played Serbia at Fulham in the friendly. Plays for a team in Russia, and he's a sitting midfield player, very experienced. He's 33. He knows the game. He plays it simple. He keeps the ball, and he's an ideal man, I would think, to bring on at this moment.
So the man coming off is Kai Sung-young of Celtic, being replaced by Kim. So we've got two Kims in midfield now. This is the number 5, Kim Nam-il. Tom Tomsky plays for in Russia. It's in Siberia, I think, actually. As David says, veteran stages of his career. He's well into the 90s, but international caps for Korea. I think he'll just perhaps shore things up for the Koreans, because most of the play at the moment is in the Korean half. I would have to say that they have been relatively untroubled, though, by anything that the Greeks have thrown at them.
Well, they're certainly playing with more ambition, aren't they, David, at the moment, Greece? But they have to do that. They have to go forward. And there's a shot that's deflected for another corner, and they'll rue the amount of corners that they've had whilst failing to make a clear chance. By the same token, South Korea will say that they haven't been exploited in any sense. They've defended very well from these set plays.
Well, Gekas set that chance up for Katsaranis, and I think that might have been goal bound. I'm not saying the goalkeeper wouldn't have saved it had it not been deflected behind for yet another Greek corner. They're into double figures, way into double figures for corners, but they haven't really troubled the South Korean goalkeeper Jung, and the referee just sorting out a bit of silliness, the usual argy-bargy inside the penalty area, and we wait once again for the corner to be taken from the far side. Put towards the penalty spot. Good clearing header though from Cho inside that penalty area. Korea defending again, as they have to do, as the ball's turned back in. Couple of Greek players. Here's a chance for Gekas. Now, was that handball? Now, what's the referee given here? He's given offside, I think. But the Greeks are claiming that was a handball. Gekas turned around and fair walloped that ball at a defender. It certainly hit a defender. Lee, I think it was. But the linesman's got his flag up, but not for a penalty. Just for a moment, I thought he was suggesting that might have been a penalty. But he's decided it's offside. I thought it was offside initially, to be fair.
Yeah, it was offside initially. The assistant had his flag up immediately, with no question about it. Whether Lee handled the ball or not, Lee Young-po, the ex-Tottenham boy, whether he handled the ball or not, the whistle had already gone for the offside. So no mistake there by Hester of New Zealand, the referee.
And in fact, no mistake anyway, because I don't think Lee did handle the ball. Here's Gekas for the Greeks on halfway. Well, that's a good touch from Kim, the substitute. Ball played forward. Here's an opportunity for Yom. That might have touched his hand there. Ball flies out to this near side. Here's Park Ji-sung looking for his second goal of the afternoon. Deflected shot. Easy save for Zorvas.
Yeah, another early shot, though. The difference between the two teams, when South Korea get forward, they're not frightened to shoot from 25, 30 yards. They look to get their shots in quickly. They can always get to deflection. I was disappointed in the two games that we saw yesterday that there wasn't enough shots. There wasn't enough players prepared to take shots. And we've heard so much about the ball, the way it swerves and deviates when it's struck with power. And I was surprised yesterday that we didn't see enough ambitiousness in either of the four teams that played to hit shots from distance.
And yet the South African lad who scored that was a wonderful goal.
Exactly,
wonderful strike.
Which proves the point.
Throw in to Greece. You're listening to 5 Live. South Korea leading Greece by a goal to nil. 5 Live, the World Cup station. Argentina, Nigeria to follow. England, USA tonight. And again, the Greeks come forward with Torosides, but broken up by Kim. Down to this near side to Bolton's Lee on halfway. Stopped initially, but Kim wins him the ball back, and then Lee gives it to the other Kim in midfield. Spreads play out to right onto the far side to Lee Young-po. It was actually a good ball, that, but Lee couldn't quite take it in. It's out for a throw-in on that far side to the Greeks. Virtually the entire pitch now is in shade as the ball's played long towards Kapitanos. And then plays switch to this near side. This is Katsaranis, plays it forward and stopped on the edge of his own area by Cho. And Kim will clear once more for the South Koreans. Raking past downfield. Goalkeeper Zorvas has to come out of his area to get there before Park Ju-young He looks a dangerous striker, doesn't he? He missed the end of the French season with Monaco. He had an injury, but he's looked pretty sharp today, albeit he'll feel he should have scored a goal or two.
Yeah, it was a great ball. I think it was the sub Kim Nam-il that played it, and really raking, searching pass. But the important thing is Park Chu-young was looking to get on the end of it. He's a willing runner.
Kim Nam-il, the player you're so impressed by, and he has played well since he came on, to be fair. His nickname is the vacuum cleaner, because he hoovers everything up, and that's certainly what he's done since he came on. Vastly experienced. Cha, who's played well at right back, tries to beat his man. That's a good tackle though from Salpingidis, and Cha wins the throw-in for South Korea. So 10 minutes to go, David Pleat. Is there a sting in this tale, or can South Korea see off the Greeks, do you think, with this 2-goal advantage?
I doubt it. I think that the Greek side will continue to press. They have played better in the second half. They played with a little bit more determination, a little bit more willingness to get forward. But in truth, it's been very difficult for them to make chances. The two centre-backs, Cho Yong-hong and Lee Young-soo, are very solid at the back. They protected their goalkeeper particularly well. When you consider they've had those, I would think, 10 or 11 corners now in the game, they've handled them very well, so they've proved they can cope with the aerial ball. That's been a good test for them today, and I'm very impressed with the work rate. We know that Park Ji-sung, for his efforts at Manchester United, is a great grafter up front. Also on the other side, I have to say, the Bolton player Lee Chung-young also has done very, very well. Very industrious in all his work, and very good with the ball.
Katsaranis plays a good ball out to the far side. Saitaridis in towards the penalty area. Here's Gekasic. Oh, it's a flying save from Jung. That was a really, really good save. That ball was struck very, very fiercely by Salpingidis and turned behind for yet another corner. But that could have been the game's turning point had that gone in.
Yeah, I think it was Gekas who hit the shot, but it was a terrific save by the goalkeeper. The ball came to him, he turned quickly, hit the ball with his left foot, and it veered, looked as though he was going towards the top corner, but the goalkeeper turned and made a terrific save to push that ball over the bar. Fine effort by the Greece centre-forward Gekas. He's dangerous inside the box.
9 minutes to go, 2-0 as Kim clears the corner. Turned back by Ziolis to the corner kick taker. There's an offside flag up, and South Korea survive once more with their 2-goal lead intact, and that really could have changed the entire complexion of this match. But with the 2-goal lead, well, you can't see Korea.
Yeah, it would have made a nervous last few minutes. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Whether Greece would have had enough to go and attack and get another goal, I don't know, because what's going to happen now is Korea are content as the minutes tick away to probably sit a shade deeper, and it will be difficult for Greece to get through. Here's another effort from distance.
Effort from distance from Park Chu-young, and turned round by Zorvas. I think he saw that quite late. May possibly even have taken a slight deflection. It was set up by Yom to his co-striker Park. It wasn't actually going in. The goalkeeper didn't need to save that, but he wasn't for taking any chances.
No, one for the photographers. Zorvas going to the right-hand side of his goal. It would have passed wide, but once again Korea showing that they are happy to take shots from distance.
So a rare Korean corner. They've played well, but they haven't had too many corners. Now they'll get another one because it's immediately been headed behind by Katsaranis. So the Koreans won't mind this because it's eating up the clock, of course. 7.5 minutes to go. Corner taken quickly by Yom. And then the ball is worked into the penalty area. Again, a shooting opportunity, this time for Lee Young-pyo. It's blocked, but again, as David says, they're showing their willingness to have a go. And I think it's that willingness that has helped them to what I think will be a victory in this game. They've done well. They've kept the ball in over on the far side with Lee of Bolton Wanderers. And does really well. Just keeps hold of the ball as the tackles fly in. Gekas tried to dispossess him there. It's knocked long towards the edge of the penalty area, header on, straight into the arms of Zorvas once more.
You made the point, David, that Korea have had very few corners, but that last corner, instead of just humping the ball into the box and hoping a 50-50 ball perhaps, they worked the ball. They got the 2 against 1 out there, then they got the other defender out to make a 2v2, and then they cleverly played Lee Young-po in to get towards coming deep from the left back position. And that's what we want to see, a bit of invention, a little bit of something different. Greece have had all those corners, they haven't varied one.
No, and of course Korea, I mean, it's good sound tactics from Hugh, their coach, really, because if there's no good lumping the ball into the penalty area if everybody's bigger than you, if the opposition are taller than you, and that certainly is the case, I think, out there. Yom going forward over on the far side, but he's over on the ball. It's a throw-in to the Greeks, who trail here by 2-0 on 5 Live with just 6 minutes remaining in this game. And Hugh, the coach, will hope to do better than the last South Korean coach, if you take my point, a non-foreign coach, because the last one, Cha, was sacked midway through France 98 after they lost 5-0 to Holland. But they're doing better here, and going forward is Park, and he might have been hauled down there, but the referee and linesman say no. Comes to Zorvas, the goalkeeper. He clears instantly to try to set the Greeks on their way, and Salpingidis has it just outside the penalty area. Very, very brave defending from Cho. Gets the header in. Opportunity for Katsaranis to put it back into the penalty area. They were just short on numbers there for a moment, Korea, but the ball in the end does sail through to the goalkeeper, Chung. They survive again. We have 5 minutes to go, and the Koreans, Asia's most successful World Cup team, they played in every tournament since 86, still lead here by 2-0. Ball's played infield by the Koreans to Park Ji-sung. Muscular challenge on him, but a fair one according to the referee. Not long again by the Greeks, and it's Lee Jung-soo who comes across to clear. It was a slightly risky pass. He was lucky, he found Kim. Kim's ball though was a good one to Lee Young-pyo, and then it's played forward to Yom, and Yom gets goal side of his man. Here's a chance for Yom to finish it off. He hasn't done. It's blocked. Lee shoots, and it's palmed round the post by Zorvas. Really good attack from South Korea, but they had the numbers there, and they should have scored. They should have put the game to bed.
Yeah, speedy break, poor defending on the right-hand side of the Greece defence, and when the ball came out, the goalkeeper makes a very, very good save. Down low to his left. It really was a splendid save by Zorvas from the Bolton player Lee Chung-yong.
So corner, the resulting corner will be taken by Yom, who set off that last move. But Korea still putting 5 in towards the penalty area. It's half cleared by Katsaranis. That ball comes free and is lashed into the side netting by Kim. At first, just for a moment, you see the net bulge. It came back off the advertising hoardings into the netting, but it did miss. It was into the side netting.
That early morning run has really wakened you. You were sharp as attack there, because a lot of people would have been confused by the net bulging then, and it hit the boards and bounced into the net like a rocket, and I think 1 or 2 people in the stadium might have thought, aye, they've got another.
Well, Park Chu-young is about to make way here. He's had a decent game. He's led the line well for the Koreans. I'm sure he will feel as a striker he should have scored a goal today, but he's played his part in setting up other goals. He's been part of a very good Korean performance. He's being replaced by Lee Seung-yeol, who plays for FC Seoul. He's a youngster, he's only 21 years of age. He's played at the Under-20 World Cup, and he's scored 3 goals in only 8 international appearances, so he does know where the goal is, this fella, but there's only 3 minutes for him to try to get on the score sheet here. He wins a header there on this near side as the Greeks attack from right to left. In the end, it trickles out of play, allowed to just roll out by Papadopoulos, and it will be Zorvas, the goalkeeper, to take a goal kick. So this will be a fine start for South Korea to this Group B match. It's not the easiest of groups. Nigeria, we're not quite sure what to expect from them. They have in the past been one of the very strong African countries. I think we know what to expect from Argentina, and certainly individually they have got some really, really good players. That long ball into the box again from the Greeks, sails over everybody's head, way over their head. I think one of the Greeks there was actually looking for a penalty, but the ball was so far away from him. In the end, it trickles behind, and it's a goal kick to South Korea. What now for Greece, David Pleat?
Well, it's going to be very difficult for them. I think that Nigeria and Argentina, in fact we saw the Nigerians before the game, they're all in the stadium watching this game. They'll be very interested to see how this game goes. but more than capable. Sorry, I made a mistake there. It wasn't the Nigerians, of course, that were watching the game. They'll be watching the game on the television, no doubt, on their monitors before playing this afternoon. A game you can hear on 5 Live, of course. Back on song. But no, the Nigerians and the Argentinians, I certainly think, will feel confident against the Greece team. They really haven't got enough subtlety, pace or cunning in their ranks to disturb more quality sides. But you have to say that looking at South Korea today, they do have a chance of getting out of this group. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think they're disciplined at the back. I was looking very closely now at the Cho Young-hong at the back, the way he's organised his defence. When Greeks play it from the wide position square or backward of square, they move out, they work the opposition forwards, they don't just sit in there and wait for the ball. They're a compact team, but they've got the pace and they've got the willingness, and I'm quite impressed with them up the front. Very quick breakers, and I think they're likely to score goals. They're dangerous.
Their next game, the Koreans, is on Thursday. It's against Argentina, and then they finish off with the Nigerians on Tuesday week in Durban. The Greeks will play the Nigerians next in Bloemfontein, and then Argentina on Tuesday week in Polokwane. All the final games in each group, of course, have to take place simultaneously. 2-0 Korea lead as we're about to move into injury time. Lee gives chase, the substitute Lee that is, can't reach that ball. We're about to have another sort of time-wasting substitution, if you like, because the number 13, another Kim Jae-sung from Pohang, the team that won the Asian Champions League, is about to come on, and he is replacing
Lee Chung-yong.
Yeah, the Bolton player. I couldn't see the number 4 a moment. So one Lee for Kim rather for a Lee. As we move into stoppage time, I haven't seen the board, so I'm not quite sure. 2 minutes, I think, we're going to have of added time. It's 2-0 that South Korea lead, and a thoroughly merited victory here on 5 Live. England against the USA tonight, of course, on 5 Live, and before that Argentina, Nigeria. The Greeks are still going in search of what would now be a consolation goal. Yeah, just confirmation on the big screen of 2 minutes of added time. It's rather belated that. We've had almost 1 minute of it already. It's another Greek tragedy at the World Cup for the boys from Athens and beyond, as Zorvas collects the ball from inside his penalty area. But Korea, who did well 8 years ago on home soil, haven't really done very well elsewhere in World Cup finals, but they're about to get a victory here in about 40 seconds time as the ball is played back to the Greek goalkeeper Zorvas once more. Nothing that Greece can do now will affect the result, as Saitaridis has it on halfway. They've been largely outplayed. They have, as David Pleat said, been better in this second half, but I've been very disappointed overall with the Greeks. That was a good tackle, having said that, from Ziolis, but there's a chance now for the Koreans to break. It's 4 against 4. Kim just holds the ball up, plays it into the midfield for the other Kim Jung-woo. Back to Kim Nam-il. It's at walking pace, and the referee has decided he has seen enough. Dead on 2 minutes of stoppage time, and South Korea win the first game at this South Africa World Cup. They've beaten Greece by 2-0. David Pleat, briefly.
Yes, thoroughly merited, more enterprising, quicker on the break. Greece probably had as much possession, but they were unable to prise open a solid South Korean team as a group. They work well together, they are fit, and they have some speedy forwards who are always going to make chances. And I was impressed with the way they took their shots early. They'll be fully confident after today's game. I've quite enjoyed it. From Greece's point of view, they were a little bit staid, a little bit deflated as the game, they scored 2 at such vital times, early in the first half, early in the second half, and in the end South Korea worthy winners, an enjoyable game.
It was Lee Jung-soo in the first half, Park Ji-sung in the second. The Koreans could and should have had many more, but they've won 2-0 here in Port Elizabeth.